This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the Gulf of Mexico as their backdrop, broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, here are the hosts of the dinkiest podcast in America, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah, baby. Thank you, Dave. Thank you all for coming. So nice to see a nice big crowd this late in the season here at Margaritaville, License to Chill.
What are we gonna do?
I know.
If
we can maintain this crowd through the summer when it's 100 degrees and 100% humidity, that's going to be awesome.
You know what I was thinking is we need to get like cutouts of these two,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're gonna put them in the chairs.
I know. Dave and Julie Nussbaum are going back to Wisconsin.
And we're gonna put their clapping on a record thing. We can just hit the button.
Yeah, we're going to need to hire somebody else to clap so that there sounds like there's a big audience here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome
You have
to
to come
Margaritaville.
back next week.
And this fine gentleman here was telling us that he was watching The Price is Right last night. And I don't know, did anyone watch The Price is Right last night? Apparently, they gave away an $8,200 package to Margaritaville on The Price is Right. That's somebody
For
won.
down here.
For down here, yeah,
Yeah.
for on Fort Myers Beach. So we're gonna have to find that on the YouTube.
That would be fun to when they come down to have interview them.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
What game did they win that on? Or they won it in the No, I know, but what, like Plinko or?
he didn't see it there.
Okay.
You got to quiz the guy for it.
I don't
mean,
know,
he just
I was wondering. I
brought the
love
exciting.
Price is Right.
Yeah, The Price is Right. Is that
been
the
around
show Vanna
forever.
White is on? Is
No,
no.
no. Was Bob Barker
Who's the Bob
back in the
Barker?
day?
And who's the one lady that just does this?
That is Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, sorry.
I want to
So-
go on Family Feud. I just don't want to go on with you.
Yeah, I want
But
my.
the rules dictate it has to be actual family.
So it would be cool if we did the Family Feud with her family on one side and my family on the other side. But unfortunately, all of my family is dead, so it would be just her family against mine. Dave's got his money out. So we have a great show lined up for today. A lot of interesting topics to cover. The first topic you may be wondering about is why are the Wahoo Willies guys here at License to Chill on a Saturday morning? Well, they have huge news to announce, and I am going to allow Peter to be the first person to tell everybody that they are taking over the SOB.
Well, you didn't let him do it.
Oh, so sorry.
Thank you so much for
Go ahead.
letting me share the news. I appreciate that. Thanks.
I couldn't hold on to this secret much longer.
That's
so
okay. I appreciate you waiting.
thank you for coming on the
You're
show.
welcome.
Big hand for our
You're
guests,
welcome.
everybody. Yeah.
And I have to say, your wife did a great job with your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Yes.
And yours.
Yeah.
So yes, we're really excited. Nick and I and our partners. We talked to Reed, and Reed obviously with Bill, his dad. We really wanted
Let everybody know that might
Okay.
not know who Reed
All
is.
right. Reed and his dad owned and operated the SOB for many years. Nick, you know when it started?
I do not know exactly. I know when I first saw Reed, he was in his mother's stomach. So
Yeah.
Wow.
You saw Reed in his mother's stomach. Wow. What were you doing that close to Reed's mom? It's very weird. Yeah. Oh, she worked for you. Okay. Wow. You guys go back.
So yeah, Nick goes back with those guys
Yeah.
a long time. So
Yeah.
we reached out to Reed a few times and said, hey, Reed, why don't you come back? You know, Nick and I will do whatever we can as good neighbors to get you going. You know, Bill had sold and moved on. And Reed just said, hey, I'm so happy out here. He just won Best Burger of Lee County at Street Eats and Ale.
Where's
So,
that? Where's Street Chanel? It's
his place is in the center of Pine Island.
Pine Island. Okay.
So he's doing really well out there. He's bought the property. So he just said he just
He had
wanted to
enough.
had enough. Wants to keep doing what he's doing. So Hank Leitnecker, we met probably 6 months ago or so. And his father passed away and told him, hey, if you want to get back in the restaurant business after leaving the farm in Ohio he was on, you know, either find a good franchise to get part of and grow with them, or find someone that's involved in a great area that you want to be in the restaurant business and latch on with them. So Frank's father-in-law introduced him to Nick.
And so he's a partner in the
and he'll
restaurant.
be like Billy is at Wahoo Willie's. He's a full partner.
I see.
He's going to be the owner operator. And if you know Fort Myers Beach and you know Nick Rulin, the Fishmonger,
Yeah.
and Snug Harbor, no one is more restaurant in Fort Myers Beach than Nick. So,
Have you ever seen Nick riding around in his pickup truck? It's not a 2024 white Ford F-150. It's a 1978 Ford.
It's got so much character.
Dodge,
It does.
Dodge.
And
Dodge.
all you hear coming out of that car is the Sanford and Son
It's
theme.
not
That's what you
true.
hear coming out of
It's
the.
not true. That is
Why
not-
spend the money if you don't need to, right, Nick? Okay, thank you, Nick, for coming on. This is the way Nick is every
Yes.
time he comes on the
Nick
show.
Sorry
is a
about that,
man
yeah.
of few words.
Yes,
No, actually, it's got the best. My best employee is that truck because it has a lift gate.
yes, yeah. So, Nick, didn't you have enough going on? You got Wahoo Willie's, you got Snug Harbor, you got what else?
He unloads commercial fish for us.
Commercial fish, yeah. So,
I'm blaming all this on Peter.
all right, Peter. So, Peter, obviously, the big question is when are you going to open? I mean, when is the restaurant? When is SOB going to be open? That's what people care about.
Is that a Scott question?
And so, who is okay? Tell us
Yep.
about the little guy behind us.
Okay. Scott's taller than all, so we put him in a small chair. Scott was actually hired by the owners of the property.
Okay,
Well,
so let me give everybody a little background. Ben Freeland from Moss Marina owns the building. He owns the property, bought the property 6 months ago-ish, and the SOB property and the property across the street that used to be a parking lot and a little
retail
T-shirt
area,
shop.
right?
Mhm.
And so Ben always wanted to keep the SOB name alive, and you guys are going to keep it SOB, right?
We are. Thanks for not asking the question I asked you to ask. But
What was the question you asked me to ask?
that question.
Nobody is allowed to tell me what questions to ask.
So as we've
It's
told
breaking the rules. here.
as we've talked to some business owners and architects, Scott himself, hey, what are you going to do with the SOB? What's going to happen? What are you going to change? Nick and I both said as little as possible.
Nice.
We want it to be as old school as Florida fish house look as it was
Right.
before Ian.
And they had a great brand.
Oh,
And they had a great
Great
brand.
following.
And so Scott
So
at
Scott-
FMB Builders was hired on by Freeland's
Yep.
as a GC.
So we were under contract with Bill, and he was going to rebuild, and then Moss Marina went
Bill
to them, bought the property, and now we're under contract with them. And once we get to, the permit issued, our plans are 4 months.
So I'm
And-
going to write down November 1st as your opening ribbon cutting date. Is that right? November 1st?
Ish.
Write it
that's
down.
ish.
I'm gonna-
Yeah.
That's what the
You
goal
can write
is,
it
right?
down.
The goal is
Or
November
before.
1st. And you're going to have a big ribbon
So,
cutting and the whole
Can
thing.
I?
Go right ahead, dear. It's your show.
So how much?
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. How much work needs to be done? Because it's been covered. So
yeah. So basically, the outside's going to stay the same. The inside, we're revamping a little bit, but we're going to try to keep everything as how it was.
Okay.
Just redo the kitchen is one of the biggest things because it was an old kitchen.
Yeah.
And as far as everything else, we're going to try to keep everything.
What about the bathrooms? I like privacy in the bathrooms. You think there'll be privacy in the bathrooms? I don't like going in front of other people. Can you put a wall up at least?
Yeah, we're gonna work on
Such
that.
an
Oh, good,
odd
good.
question.
Absolutely.
No, you want to have people care about clean bathrooms, right? Especially when you get to be
Definitely.
our age. They want to, and soft toilet paper. Soft toilet paper is really,
Charmin.
yeah, Charmin. I mean,
Oh gosh, you
Golden.
guys.
Charmin
and the
is golden.
Charmin. I'm
Nick-
getting you Scott tissue.
Nick,
That's
do
what
you
we're
use
putting
Charmin?
in.
Absolutely.
thank you. So how was season at Wahoo Willie's in Snug Harbor? I mean, it was crazy on this beach.
A very nice season. The weather could have been better at certain parts, but
Yeah.
once it was better,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So what about the employees? You're going to try and bring back some of the employees that work there, or are they kind of? It's been a while. They dispersed into other areas, or what?
You go around almost every restaurant that's open,
Yeah.
and you will see many of them.
Yeah.
I just
What-
passed one of them.
Do you have an idea, or is it too far ahead for like menus and that kind of stuff?
Actually, we're going to do our best to keep the menu we had. Nick and I always tend to maybe go a little smaller because we want to make sure whatever we do it good, do it right.
Yeah.
And the partner Hank that we're bringing in, he has a couple years experience with the Ritz Carlton while he was going
Oh,
to chef
look
school
at
in
you guys.
Arizona. Yeah.
Hanging
And-
out with the hoity-toities now.
But he's a real blue collar guy. He went
Yeah.
up, turned a little bar in Tampa and do a full restaurant from
Sweet.
a bar.
Yeah.
So he's got some great experience and he wants to do things right.
Yeah.
So, and I took him out to Street Eats and Ale to have lunch one day and meet Reed. And so he kind of understands the concept. So
Yeah.
like Reed, he, went to his culinary school and, is really excited. Him and his wife been coming to Fort Myers Beach for years, and they're really looking forward to the opportunity down here.
Jeff Olson. Thank you, Jeff. No single ply toilet paper.
So just, you talking like Reed.
Thank you, Jeff.
Is he going to also participate in the chili contest? Because Reed has quite a history on this island winning the chili contest. Are you guys going to swoop in now and do that?
Absolutely.
Nice. Look at you guys.
Oh, he threw down the gauntlet. So don't they get a green jacket?
They have a green jacket. It never fit Reed because he was a little bigger. And
I love green chili.
yeah. So is there anything that you want people to know about your company?
No, we're just a local company here.
Yeah.
And we do new construction houses at the beach and commercial. So we're just excited to get this going.
You think
Awesome.
4 months, huh?
When are you going to take the
From
curtains
permit
down?
issuance.
When are you going to
Okay.
take the curtains
Can I-
down so that people can see what's going on the inside? Those black
When it's
curtains have
done?
been up forever. Oh, really? Take them down.
We got to work on getting them working again to
I
open
see.
them.
I see. All right. All right.
Are you having any trouble? Like, are materials available? Because that's
Yeah,
Okay,
materials
so
are all
that's all
good. The
smoothed
electrical,
out.
we're going to start soon. But yeah,
Are
as
you
far as all
having-
the materials
Yeah.
are readily
Are
accessible.
you having any
Okay.
trouble with permitting? Because we're going to have the mayor on tomorrow, and we'll give him a bunch of shit if you're having trouble with the
permitting's
permitting.
been good.
Good,
It's just
good, yeah.
actually if you fill
Yeah.
out everything correctly.
Yes.
And they've
There
been
you go.
working with
Right.
us. A lot of people don't know how to fill all the permits out correctly and do everything correctly. So,
All right.
they're willing to
but
work
your
with us.
company's got it down pat, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We already
Yeah.
got one permit issued for that.
Oh,
So,
good.
All right, everybody. Big hand for the new, I'm not going to say owners. I mean, what do you call it? You call it the runners, the new runners of the SOB.
And look, he's got the
sticker on.
sticker
you
on.
bring those to sell to people, or are you going to hand them out? All right. Yes, we will be at Wahoo Willie's tomorrow for Sunday brunch with the mayor. Thank you again
Thank you
to
so
Peter
much.
and Nick and FMB Builders. Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes,
it wasn't
Scott,
too
thank you so
painful,
much.
was it?
Yeah.
All right.
No, and thank you for sitting in the little chair today. So
I know.
man,
you should
that's-
have sat back there.
that's very exciting to have SOB back on the block.
Yeah,
and
that's
again,
a staple.
I've said this 1,000 times. That part of Fort Myers Beach with Wahoo Willie's and Snug Harbor and Nervous Nellies and the Bayside Park, it's the new place to hang out. And Monday, we'll find out at the town council meeting whether or not there's going to be something even bigger there, because the Moss Marina map amendment change, they're not voting on the project, but the map amendment change is on the agenda on Monday. So Monday's town council meeting, which we'll carry live, is going to be a massive marathon session. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big election year. There are 3 town council members that are up for election. I think there are 3 county board members up for election. Ray Sandelli, who we all love, is not running for re-election. David Malukka is running. What's his name? Dropped out. It's already Brian Farrar dropped out of the race, and we have a new entry in the race. Matt Thornton's coming down. Come on down, Matt. Matt is
Where'd the questions go?
last time I saw Matt, he was in his golf cart coming by our show 2 Sundays ago. Is that right? Is that you got? I see your golf cart out on San Carlos Boulevard. Is it by the old ice cream store where you have it parked? It's parked in the dirt.
Yeah, we parked in the county spot.
All right. We want to make sure you're nice, loud, and clear. And Matt,
Keep it
you
nice and
are
close.
you're running for district. Is it District 3? I always
District
get the
3,
districts.
correct.
I mean, why do they keep track of the districts? You're running countywide anyway. So tell everybody who Matt Thornton is.
Well, hi, my name's Matt Thornton. I'm running for Lee County Commissioner, District 3. District 3, if you don't know where that is that we start right here on Fort Myers Beach. And District 3 goes all the way down the Barrier Islands, all the way to the southernmost part of Lee County. And then it heads inland, goes all the way to the east side of Lee County for about 20 miles. And then it cuts north and it cuts back in, follows 41 till you get to Summersville, goes to Summersville, and then drops off when you get to the Caloosahatchee. So that's your basic District 3. This season, or this election season, I guess I should say. Oh, I should say the odd numbers are going. So districts 1, 3, and 5 are up for vote this year. In a couple of years, it'll be 2 and 4.
Right. And just for a quick background, that anybody can vote for right now, anybody can vote for all of them.
Right.
You'll go into the booth. If you vote, you'll go into the booth in November and you can vote for every single one of those. Matt is in a district which they say represents Fort Myers Beach and Bonita or whatever
Right.
the district is. But basically, you, if you are elected, you represent everybody. So somebody from Cape Coral can call you for their potholes or whatever. But so
Correct.
you've lived in Florida for how long?
Well, I was raised in Florida. I'm from Florida, from Little
So
Island
forever.
up north.
So forever. And how long have you lived on Fort Myers Beach?
Fort Myers Beach. We've been here a few years.
How many years?
About 3, I believe.
So 3
Okay.
years, but you live off.
But you have a place in North Fort Myers, right? You have a
Yes, ma'am.
cattle ranch.
Yes, ma'am. We have a cattle ranch in North Fort Myers. We bring up Brangus. I don't know how many cattle
is that?
aficionados are here. So we bring up cattle out there. We love our cattle ranch. It's a lot of fun. The idea behind what we've put together is that if elected and I get into office, I'm going to end up with 3 offices. I'll have an office at our house here at the beach.
So tell everybody where that is.
That's on San Carlos Boulevard. If you've driven up and down San Carlos Boulevard and you've seen our cart out front, that's where we're at. So we're at 17745 San Carlos Boulevard.
By the old ice cream shop or the
yeah, it's
the bowling alley?
It's just before the old ice cream shop. It's across the street from the new
Tiki?
storage place. No,
Oh, okay.
the green one.
So do you own a house over there? I know that's part of the beach. That's the 33931. So do you own a
Correct.
house there? You rent? What is?
No, we own a house.
Okay, you own a house over there. Gotcha. Okay.
Our house is on stilts. We actually have a light
Okay.
at the bottom of the house. It's kind of funny. The watermark's still on that light. My wife won't let me take the light down. She wants to keep it.
Yeah. So what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Wow.
Go ahead.
What made you decide to throw your hat in the ring at this time for this county seat?
Well, it was interesting. It started off with a couple of my neighbors. A couple of my neighbors grew into a couple hundred of my neighbors. Part and parcel of it is that I'm a retired contractor. I've been a contractor for 40 years. I've been dealing with not only municipalities and districts my entire construction life, but I've dealt with the permitting and FEMA and other entities like that. I got out of actually building commercial units and building, places like this and houses, and found a niche that I really, really liked, which kind of strange, but it's the door industry. Most people say, well, what is that? And I say, well,
Okay, but
You've
back
seen
to,
my
but
work.
stay. We have so many questions. Like,
Okay.
what made you? What made you
okay.
think that you wanted to get into running for office?
Well,
you had 100 people that were knocking on your door saying, "Run."
Well, the whole reason behind it was that I have the talent and I have the background for it. So I've helped all my neighbors figure out solutions and problems and their problems with permitting and different things. And so it was just kind of a natural progression, and they kind of pushed me to that direction to do it.
Now, have you been had a public office before? Have you done anything similar to this or
No, ma'am.
served?
I have
Okay,
not.
okay.
First
Not that that's
shot.
a requirement
No,
because lots of people haven't.
So first shot at running for office.
This is my first shot. Yes.
Okay. How much money have you raised so far?
I'd have to ask Kurt. I'm not sure.
Is Kurt here?
No, he's in Texas.
Well, how much you have to know roughly? I mean, it says $0 right now online, but how much do you think? Because I don't think you've had to file yet. There must be some date where you have to file.
Well, yeah, there's dates that he files. I think it's somewhere north of about 100,000.
Oh, 100,000. Okay. How much do you think you need to raise to win?
Well, that's a big question mark. I think I've heard a figure anywhere from about 250,000 to about 450,000.
Yeah.
Oof.
And you'll use
That's a lot
that
of
money
money
on
Yeah.
mailers and signs because I mean, is it a TV fight? Is it a radio fight? Or I mean, what are you going to spend money on to try and win? Because obviously David is in the machine. He's part of the, and I know she doesn't like when I say that, but the Republicans have a machine in Lee County, and I'm not criticizing that, but when they pick a candidate, the candidate
I
usually
think they don't like it.
usually wins. I mean, it's a machine. He's their chosen candidate, and they're all the names are going to get behind him. So how can you beat the machine, or do you
Well-
disagree with the machine?
The existence of it.
Well, I don't call it the machine.
What do you call it?
I call it the Good Old Boys Club because I
All
grew
right.
up here.
All right. Well, we're on the same page, though, right? So how
Yes.
do you win that? You know, it hasn't been successful with outsiders winning that. So how do you break through that?
Well, I think the best way to break through it is going out and talking to the public. We've been doing that. We've been running around. I go to all the city council meetings. On a side note, you're meeting with Dan tomorrow. Dan is another reason why I actually got in. He was kind of my final decision.
Why is that?
My wife's opening a business down here. It's called Trippin' Rides. It's golf carts. It's hop on, hop off. And one of the things we needed to do was to make room for EVs around the island to try to reduce the traffic that's here. So we took a bunch of time. We put up a bunch of effort and kind of redesigned and reimagined what the streets would look like and how they would work. And we came to city council with these ideas.
Yep.
And we proposed them. And Dan said, well, wait a minute, at the end of this meeting, we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation about this. And
I don't remember him saying that. I do remember him telling you it wasn't going to work.
it wasn't going to work. Correct.
I don't remember him saying we're going to sit down. He said you had to talk to the county.
Yeah. Well, no, what he said actually is that this will never work because you have to get the city
And the county.
then you got to get the county
Yes.
and then you got to get
The
FDOT.
state. Mhm.
Right. Everybody
Well,
involved.
FDOT, the Florida Department of Transportation deals with the bridge.
Right.
And at that point, I realized after working in the construction industry and working in prisons and working with all these entities together on a regular basis, I realized that the communication between the county, the machine,
Yes.
and the city, and it's not just Fort Myers Beach, folks. This is Estero. This is Bonita Springs. They're all having the same exact problem.
But you do realize the communication between the county and the city of Fort Myers Beach has been better than it's ever been because of previous administrations here.
Correct.
Because of Ray and Dan and Jim and this council we have.
Correct. But the
but-
problem is the county. It's from the county. end.
Okay,
But if you expanded or whatever the idea was, I looked at a drawing, but it was a lot on that drawing, and online it was hard for me to see. But even if what would be your idea for, because the Estero Boulevard, it's only so wide. So are you saying put in another lane, or how would EVs get around the island?
I think there's a couple of different ways to do this. One of the big things we have going on right now, I think most everybody in here knows that we're building the berm back up along the beach because we need to, because the ocean took it away.
Right.
So, I think that we build the berm, we put the EV path on top of it, and
Who's
I think
gonna
we
pay
get
for- who's
Mexico
gonna-
to pay for it.
who's
What do you
gonna-
think? That work for everybody?
Come on now. Seriously,
Well-
who would pay for that? Where's that money coming from?
Well, if you do it this way, if you do it somewhere where you actually take it off of the roadway and you actually move it
Yeah. The
over to the
concept
beach.
is a good idea, but who's paying for it?
Well, at that point, it becomes a county issue. Now
the
you're
county
moving.
doesn't own that part of the beach.
Well,
though.
they-
You're talking
they-
about private property.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the private property itself. Private
right.
property goes to a certain point.
Right, but
mean
if
high
you're
tide
running
line,
EVs
yeah.
Right.
all the way
mean high
down,
tide line,
if
correct.
you're running a path all the way down the beach, some of it's going to be private property.
Well, no. I'm not talking about the whole
Oh,
length of
just
it. No,
just a portion of it.
no. I think what we do is if we look at what we got currently right now, we have a turn lane in the middle it's utilized, but not very much.
It's really for drainage. That's what that
Exactly.
is.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
No, I'm being
No, I agree with
It's
you. It's not
honestly-
really a turn lane. It's kind of more for drainage.
yeah.
But EVs could easily, that lane could be redone. We could take the sidewalks that we currently have on both sides, and we could literally at that point make one side for people to walk, just pedestrian traffic every day. And the other side, we could make a 2-lane for small EVs, bicycles, etc.
Fair enough. Okay, so that becomes a county issue,
That
which you're
become-
running for
right.
county.
Correct.
But I think one of the things, because we've talked about this more than a couple of times on this show, is then you've got people crossing the street a lot more because they're only on one side, and then that slows down traffic, and ain't nobody, the traffic woes. Everybody knows the traffic woes, and they're not going anywhere soon because people are coming to the beach. How do you deal with that?
Well, there's several different ways to deal with that issue. They've dealt with that issue and a little bit farther south of us here. There are companies that actually make what they call pillar paths The pillar paths are actually made out of concrete pilings or pillars. And what they do is these pillars are actually installed into the ground at a very deep spot somewhere on either side of the road. And then a aluminum bridgeway is actually put in place. The bridgeway is actually removable for the hurricanes.
So like a walkover?
So it'd be a walk
Okay.
over instead
So-
of a walk across.
Okay.
So Matt, you let's say you get elected, you go to your first, 5th, 10th county board meeting, you say, I need to help Fort Myers Beach. They need to have this path, wherever you're going to put it, however you're going to manage EVs or golf carts or wherever it is. And you say it's a $20 million project because, I mean, it's going to be millions. And you're going to say to those other 4 reps, we need to come up with the money to do this because Fort Myers Beach needs it. I mean, I'm not arguing that Fort Myers Beach needs a bike path or shared path somewhere where people don't get killed between Coconut Point and Times Square. Who's going to pay for that, and how are you going to raise that money?
Well, I think there's several different ways that can happen. One of the biggest travesties here in Lee County is we have a lot of development going on, and I'm not against the development whatsoever. I'm a retired contractor, folks. So I like development, but I like responsible development. That's the biggest key. The biggest problem that we have currently right now with the development that's going on is that if you really look at the contracts, and trust me, I used to slobber at these when they
But
didn't
Matt,
make
come-
me do a
Matt,
bunch of road
wait,
work.
I know I have a lot
Let
of
me-
questions,
let me-
but
I know,
Yeah.
but let me finish.
And
Let me finish.
I have one or two.
The idea is that if we can get the developers to pay for more of the road work for the developments they're trying to do and do it in a responsible way, then we have more money to put down here to deal with what we're trying to do down here at the beach.
So would you advocate then for impact fees, bigger impact fees, big wallops for developments?
I don't think it would
developers coming
be.
in?
I don't think it'd be a big wallop. I think it would just be an increased impact fee, but I think the impact fee would needs to deal with more of the roadways. I mean, just off the top of my head right now, you've got a bunch of development going on out around Bayshore, out in North Fort Myers. The road is a 2-lane road and it's constantly clogged. We've got, concrete trucks, we've got dirt trucks moving constantly. And these people are upset. They're very upset because they can't even get, they can't get from point A to point B without it taking 30 minutes when it used to take them 5.
So do you have them pay that before they get their permits? Like how do you get the money first to do the infrastructure first before you start?
You hit the nail on the head. You
Okay.
make them do the infrastructure first.
Okay.
Then
And
you
you think
allow
that-
them to build the houses and do the other things at that point.
All right. So developers, then that's what they would do. They would pay first before they start. Okay.
No, not pay first. Do first. Do the infrastructure first. And in a lot of states, what most people don't realize, in a lot of states, folks, the infrastructure has to be done prior to the actual houses being built. So you just have to look at it a little bit differently. I know we have a lot of folks here from up north, but if you start looking at some of the, the Midwest states and counties, you'll find out that, yeah, that's the way they do it.
Okay.
So real quick, a couple of bullet, let's go fast with a few of them. Then the other ones will be detailed. How do you think this Lee County Board of Commissioners is doing right now? What grade would you give them?
Probably a D-.
A D-. Wow. Why?
Well, there's too many things that are going on that they're not paying attention to and looking at.
Like,
Plus, the other problem. Well, you're asking me to go fast, so I'm trying to go fast.
all right.
There's a lot of things. There's a brand new building in downtown Fort Myers that's not even completely completed yet, and all of a sudden, the contractors wanting the taxpayers to help them out to help them finish it because they ran out of money. That's part of the county commissioner's responsibility to do their vetting to make sure that these people have enough money before they try to start building these. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to pay for the taxes to finish that building.
Mm-hmm.
They need to go find some private funding.
Okay.
That's a big F for me.
All right. So D- for, what about Ray Sandelli specifically?
Ray Sandelli, I think Ray Sandelli and, a couple of others in there have done a really good job. I really do like Ray. He's been there. I've been able to see him. I've been able to talk to him.
What's his grade?
And it's really good.
Give him a grade.
I'd say he's probably the higher of the five. I would say he's at least a B.
All right. Good thing, because we love Ray.
I know. I almost was like, tread lightly about our buddy Ray.
No. I like
He's just
Ray.
a generally.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He
sweet,
doesn't belong
nice
in
guy.
politics.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not a nice guy. He's trying to get in politics, but so County Manager Dave Harner, grade him.
That one's a hard one because it's both ways. I'm going to be nice with him and say I'm going to give him a C.
A C.
Because-
That's nice.
That is
Well,
nice.
that's average. C is average.
And I say a C because he's got more to deal with than the rest of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dealing with all five of these guys, and he has to deal with that problem with all five of them. Yeah, it's going to be an issue. You know that, as you know, that the issue is coming up for single.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Single
Oh
districts.
yeah.
So the Fort Myers Beach Town Council, do you think they're doing a good job, or do you think the county should take over the city?
Oh no, I think Fort Myers, the city council is doing a fabulous job. I was there when Karen spoke at the last commissioners meeting. I thought she did a great job.
Okay. All right. So if you were to get elected and you were to say, there's one or two things that I really need to, aside from the stuff that we spoke about already, I need to bring back to the beach. I really need to get it done for the beach. I need to be the advocate for this specific thing. Give me two or three things that you would say you're going to fight hard for the residents and the visitors of Fort Myers Beach. What would they be?
Well, first and foremost, lighting. This place is dangerous at night. That would be the first thing I would want to get done. The infrastructure down here, I'd like to say it floated away, but folks, it didn't float away. It got washed away. It needs to be replaced. It needs to be worked on post haste. The county needs to get down here and get on top of this and get it taken care
How
of.
would the county get on top of the rebuilding?
Well, the infrastructure, the
But
lighting and so on and so forth along the streets.
So, so you would be in favor, even though the lighting is going to be installed by FPL, somehow the county get involved and pay for that more?
Well, I don't think that they should get involved with paying for that, but
Okay.
I think that they should get involved with FPL and let's get it moving. I mean, as you can see, I mean, you guys, everybody's walked up and down the streets. There's
Mhm.
wires hanging out of holes everywhere. Nothing's being done at this point. It's become a moot point to everybody. I think the city, last time I talked to Dan, the city's doing something to try to clean up a lot of this stuff as they can.
Yeah.
And I think that that's commendable. But FPL really needs to get on top
Okay.
of getting this
Lighting,
going.
what else?
Huh?
What else?
Well, once we get that done, I think the next thing that we need to take care of is our traffic issue that's going on here. It's a
Oh, you have a
never-ending
solution
problem.
to the traffic. Let them all know, please. Let them all know. That's all they want to know about
I
is the
know.
traffic solution. It
I
drives people
know.
insane down here.
It drives everybody insane.
What's the answer?
I think that there's several answers. Personally, I've read some of the reports that, they had the traffic study done and some guys showed up and said, oh, no, you guys are doing everything you can possibly do. And I'm looking at it from the standpoint is we need to look outside the box here. This is a very simple thing. Whatever happened to the money, that was coming down from Winkler,
I
the
don't know.
bridge that was supposed to come across at Winkler?
I don't know. Where did it go?
I don't know.
Do you think
I
somebody
got to get
pocketed
into
that
office
money?
to find out where that money
You
went.
think somebody stole it?
I don't know. It either got refunded somewhere or put
I see.
somewhere. Or I'm not sure what happened. to it.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like a Winkler Bridge. There was supposed to be a
there
bridge
was supposed
from
to
Winkler?
be. It's supposed to be another bridge down
Oh, a
there.
Mid-Island
Mid-Island Bridge, right?
Gotcha.
Right. It was supposed to come down and cut across.
So would you like to see the pier built back to the way it was or a Taj Mahal pier?
Oh, that's
Sorry, Alan.
no, that's okay. It's okay. Here's the thing. I grew up on an island, and piers are a meeting place. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
Fernandina had a pier.
You ever
And-
jump off a pier naked?
Not naked.
Okay. I mean, Dave does it all the time.
Oh, no, not naked.
Really?
No,
What's wrong with you, man?
it might hurt.
Have you done it?
No, I've never jumped off a pier. I'm afraid of heights.
You won't even get up on a pier.
Oh well.
So come on, stick to the point, man. Come on, Matt.
It
you
might
get 'em
hurt.
off. Yeah.
No, honestly, I think a bigger pier is better. There's a lot of fishermen out here. I like to fish off the pier. I think that the pier itself should have the ability to have different shops around it. And hopefully, if we can do it right, we can have smaller shops on it, or at least, some locals that can have, pop-ups or something on it.
I'm going to read a question that somebody sent in. On your website, you say you would make sure the county is doing it right in regards to FEMA and would make sure this never happens again. Are you saying you believe the county leaders and staff did it wrong? And how do you propose to fix it?
Well, there's a couple of things here. We talk about the machine that's here. The federal government, for those of you that have never dealt with them, is, as much as I hate to say it, a much bigger machine.
Yeah, for sure.
When the federal government comes in, the federal government wants to get their tentacles into everything, and they want to look at everything. Well, that could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing. And if you push them away, I have a feeling that that means that there's some bad things going on here. We don't know what they are, but why did you push them away? If FEMA could have come in done what FEMA needed to do, like they've done, they did for, Nolan's and several other places, they did it up in Pensacola, and taken over and just dealt with the permits, dealt with the cleanup, and then handed it back over to the county, and the county handed it back to the city, I think that we probably would have had a much easier.
You think FEMA should have been allowed to come in and kind of take care of stuff and then give it back to the county and then the town?
Yes, ma'am. I think so. I think that giving them the opportunity to do it, because they don't want to be here forever. They want to come in, they want to do what they're supposed to do, and then once they get done with it, they want to get out.
So do you think the county did a good job? The county did the right job, or FEMA's right that the county didn't do what they were supposed to do? What do you think?
I think as much as I hate to say it, I until they get the next bit of paperwork in, I was down at Estero and Bonita at their city councils, and they're talking about the same thing. They still have paperwork to get in. I know Fort Myers Beach has still got paperwork to turn in.
Yeah.
I think that I'm a little upset with FEMA about the fact that why didn't you give them an opportunity? Why didn't you tell them what they needed so that they could get it turned in?
So when you went to the Bonita Town Council, how about that mayor?
Yeah.
Did you see that? If anybody watches I watch all these meetings. The Bonita mayor is a whack job. He's a little crazy. Would you agree with that? Or
I don't know if I agree with it. I mean,
come on.
Each one of the mayors has got their own idiosyncrasies.
Dan's not crazy. He was yelling. He was yelling at one of the council members sitting right next to him the last meeting I watched. I was like, "Wow, this is."
Well,
sorry, I missed that.
I just watched Karen, tell the Estero mayor, 5 times about the light on the tower the other day.
Yeah.
I mean. I even asked her, when I was at another meeting with her, I said, does he have dementia?
Really? Are you for clean water or dirty water? I mean, how about a softball question?
Oh, man. Well, like I said, I grew up in Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, Florida. If anybody here knows about Fernandina Beach is where shrimp boating started. It did not start in New Orleans. First shrimp boats were built in Fernandina Beach, Florida.
I don't know. Did somebody send a question in?
I believe.
Oh, it's on here. Okay.
I believe that the water needs to be clean. You should be able to see through your water. You shouldn't be dumping anything.
You hit that one out of the park, bro. You hit that one out of the park.
How are you going to do that? How?
Yeah, it's impossible.
With the water from, it's not just this area. We obviously get water from Lake O and the Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, here she goes, getting off on our Lake O tangent.
No, but how do you? I mean, that's kind of established and set.
That's Kevin Ruine's thing.
Well, let's do a little history lesson here, folks.
Make it quick though.
It's going to be real quick. 80% of Southwest Florida before Miami was ever around was swamp.
Yeah.
It was wetland.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So what everybody's trying to do is, they're trying to hold the tide back. They're trying to hold the water back. And then they're trying to direct that water to go to different locations. It's a problem. Do I agree with, the dredging of the Caloosahatchee all the way down? I think that may have added part of the problem that we're currently having. The red tides and things are created because, Mother Nature is fighting us back.
Yep. Okay, so at the county level, there's $60 million sitting in the TDC reserves. $60 million. first of all, what do you?
Do you wanna
is
say
it
it one more
somebody's
time?
birthday?
Yeah, it's my
somebody's
wife's
birthday.
birthday today.
Oh, happy
well,
birthday
happy
to you all.
birthday.
Yes,
I don't
very
know
nice.
that they're singing,
How
but
old? How old are you? Oh,
None of
never
your
mind.
business.
know.
29 again.
29, very nice. So, I mean, how can you get? First of all, $60 million in reserves is
you said
bananas.
it again.
What would you do to get more of those money, that money from the TDC funds to Fort Myers Beach? How can you bring that back home, brother?
Well, I think there's several different ways. I think that if we take a few minutes and we go through what the city really needs, there's different items that are on the agenda that
Right.
the city needs to take care of.
What do you think it needs from the TDC?
Well, I think that we need to get the internal streets taken care of and our waterways, as far as,
Wait, internal
What-
streets. Let's take them one at a time. What do you mean?
well, the internal streets, the downtown streets, the streets
But
that
that's
are,
not eligible for TDC funding.
well, it is a
No, it
little
isn't.
bit
No,
for part of
it's
it.
got to be all. No, it's not. It's got to be beach accesses and things like that. You can't use TDC funds for internal streets. But,
Okay, but you're asking me about water, and then you're asking me about TDC.
No,
But
yeah,
where do you think
TDC.
the water goes from the streets?
well, I'm just telling you those are the rules of the TDC fund. So how can you?
Well, no, there's wash off water is part of that also.
All right.
It is.
Stormwater.
Stormwater is part of that.
Okay.
So you could get some funds for some of that to clean up some of the problems that we're having currently with the overflowing of the water in the streets right now. I'm not talking about the streets that are right out here next to the ocean.
Okay.
I'm
Right.
talking about like the ones in the middle of town.
Okay.
I'm talking about the ones as you go farther south downtown. We got the houses that are in the middle that some of those are flooding also during the rains. They eventually the wicks off,
Okay.
but
What else?
I think, the rest of it, we're going to have to one item at a time it. I mean, as the city needs it, they're going to have to be looked at. I think it could be done. I think
Okay,
it should
but
be
what,
done.
if you had to pick one topic that you would want to get TDC money for, what would it be?
Well, I think the beaches would be the number one thing, but they're working on that
Right.
now. I mean, if I said, let's get TDC money for the beaches, it's kind of redundant, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
so
they're
it's
currently working
so if
on
you're on
Bathrooms.
Yeah.
You need more
bathrooms.
bathrooms.
Well, the
Yeah.
problem is they got money for the bathrooms.
Mhm.
They're in process with
Yeah.
permits and trying to get that's a different permitting problem for everybody, because that's the land's actually owned by the state. And so the state has to defer it, and then it has to go to the county, and everybody's got to admit to what they want.
why should people vote for you?
Well, I think there's a couple of different reasons. I think number one, if you're voting for me, you're voting for somebody that doesn't have any baggage coming into this. I was retired. I was happy on the ranch. I was happy wandering up and down the beach with my dog, Rusty. A lot of people have seen him. It's a situation to where at the end of the day, I'm not part of the machine, nor will I ever be part of the machine. I'm here to fight for the people that are here. My background is one that actually is useful in the county commissioner's office. It's one that will help on every standpoint of every human being that lives here in the county. I think that it also, if you're looking at me and you're looking at my competition, I tell everybody, and I said this the other day, I tell everybody, they say, that name sounds familiar, and it is. I have a relative, a great grandfather. His name's Matthew Roy Thornton, my namesake. And if you look at the Declaration of Independence,
Mm-hmm.
he's the last name.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. So,
No, I saw that.
So, I mean, people talk about being around for decades. They talk about being here, and I'm this generation, I'm that generation. We're all Americans at the end of the day, folks. Problem is that I don't want to see what's happened at other barrier islands happen to this quaint, cute, nice, relaxed location to be. I don't want it to turn into another Miami. I don't want it to turn into another Destin. I want it to be the way that it is. I don't want to see, and I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to see 50, story condos blotting out the sun up and down the beach, and now you can't even get to the beach to walk your dog or enjoy the sand.
one of the questions we forgot to ask before we get your information out there so people can follow you is, are you in favor of single member district or at large?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that.
And
question.
why?
I mean, it's in the news now. It's so
Yeah,
it's
it's
one of those
big.
things.
You were at the same meeting
I know,
was
I
at.
know.
Well,
You
and-
talked.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, do you think 5 is enough?
Oh, I think 5 is more than enough.
Yeah, I think
For
it should be
this
7. When
growing-
it goes to 1 million people, 5 is way
Well, wait a
too
minute.
can't-
Now,
low.
I mean-
well, here's
Yeah.
here's the thing that most people don't understand. You know, the way Florida put this together, you know, under Chapter 124,
Yeah.
is that the judicial branch has to basically go through and they have to remap the districts every so many years. And what that means is that they have to take the census and then they have to count up the number of people. And so the map moves around for each one of the 5 districts. So it's not like Fort Myers Beach and Bonita and Estero is getting a lesser shot at this. They're getting the same shot. The difference is that they keep growing. This territory, District 3, keeps growing because the population is only so big here and it can only be so big here. Whereas when you get out to like Lehigh, and you get into Fort Myers, they have a lot more room. So those districts are actually going to shrink a little bit.
Lehigh was not a popular place the other night for Mr. Greenwell, Mike Greenwell, Mr.
So-
Red Sox.
Mr. didn't show up.
Ooh, and he
Yeah.
wasn't there, which was he couldn't take.
So are you? What? I don't
Yes.
think I heard an answer
What-
because you
what are you
gotta
for?
let
Yeah.
him. Yeah, let him answer.
Well, here's I'm going to tell you exactly what I told Fox the other night, and
Who?
they
Fox.
They have a
are-
following.
Yeah,
Who?
Is that a TV station or I mean,
It's
come
TV
on?
station. As I explained to them, it's this way. I don't make it a uninformed decision.
Yeah.
So right now, the reason why I didn't speak the other day when we were there
Yeah.
was that I'm listening. I'm listening to the people.
Which
I-
way are you leaning?
I'm not leaning yet.
You're not leaning
there was
either way.
only one meeting.
Matt, you
It's
have
only
to
one
take it.
meeting.
You have to, but you understand that single member district would be this. You understand at large district is what we have. You can't say you're not leaning either way. Come on, bro.
Well,
Do
let
you
me
think
ask you.
there's
Let me
better
ask you this.
representation with single member district?
Let me ask you this question
Yeah, go-
before I answer that.
Okay.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Okay. So currently, right now, the county as a whole has X number of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody here that lives here in Lee County can vote.
Yeah.
And has the right to vote for every commissioner,
Mhm.
every one of them. So if you close it off and you don't like Mike Greenwell, do you think it's okay that because maybe you don't like Mike Greenwell down here at the beach, that it's okay that he gets people to vote for him in North, and now he's just going to try to gobble up every one of those,
Here's
$60
here's the
million?
answer. Here's the answer. I think people would have a better chance to have a grassroots candidate in an area like Fort Myers Beach that doesn't have to battle the machine if you
it
had
was
single member
district.
district.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, but
Because you only have to convince these
But-
people in this district, and that I think that's better representation.
And I agree with you.
But we live in Gateway, and we have Cecil, and we love Cecil, but he can't be there forever.
No.
Somebody else could run, and they could run from Cape Coral, or they could run from Sanibel, and or maybe not because they have to live in the
you
district.
have to
But-
live in the district, right?
But so I feel like you're giving. I love this Lee County government, but in years prior it was shit when people were going to jail. So there's a cycle of things too. So I feel like the single member district, especially with minorities, it gives the minority population a better chance to elect somebody. Do you disagree with that?
I don't agree or disagree with that.
What?
Here's my reason why.
Oh, you're totally running for office. Totally running for office.
Here's my reason why is because, look at it from two sides here, folks. Okay, if I'm a commissioner,
Yeah.
oh heck yeah, I want single fair. I want just my district.
Yeah.
I only got to be like Adam and go knock on the doors of
Yeah.
the people here in Estero and Fort Myers Beach.
That's
right?
the way the state Senate and the state House do it.
Right.
And what do they do all the time?
They're running for office all the time.
And getting nothing done, and they're bickering about.
I don't
what?
know if they're not getting anything done. I mean, the state budget is so flush with money.
Right.
I mean,
But
and
are they
everybody's moving to Florida, so they must be doing something right.
That's
I mean,
true.
different story. But okay, so you're on the fence right now. Fair enough.
I'm on the fence with it, and my reason for it being is that I see it from the voter's perspective. I want to be able to have a vote for the guy or the gal that runs for any office as a commissioner
Yeah.
in Lee County, because my vote should count. The other thing that the other thing that I kind of feel about this whole thing is I really feel that we as a county need to kick the state out of this decision. And my reasoning for it being is that there's a fiat for this that needs to happen. And that two of the first items have been tried and failed. The third one's supposed to be internally. We're supposed to be going around and trying to get a vote.
Let's make sure all the details are out there. That's run by the county. The commission to look at this is run by the county. The county loves the way things are run. They're not going to buck the way things are run now. That's why the state's getting involved.
No. You're missing my point here.
I know they have
the county can put it on
well, why would they
as a
want
referendum ballot, and the folks here can choose as to whether or not they want that or not. It doesn't need to go to the state.
It should be on a referendum, one
It
way or
should
the
be.
other.
Yes,
whether
absolutely.
the county does it or the state does it, the voters should decide the way they want to elect officials, and it should be on a referendum as quickly as possible. Let the people decide. What's wrong with that?
I'm a bit concerned with it. I mean,
you don't want the people.
I trust my neighbors here in Lee County.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I trust my neighbors in Miami.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. You put it on the referendum in Lee County.
Because here's the thing: each one of the counties that are basically run this way now, there's a lot of backfighting and there's a lot of bickering going on.
Politics.
And it's all about the dollars. Right now, the dollars get shared because nobody wants to be in trouble for it, because they have to answer to everybody, not just this group over here or that group over there.
But here's the downside to the way it is now, and then we'll get your information out there. You're never going to elect a Frank Mann again right now under this system. You just can't buck this machine to elect, and that county board needs a Frank Mann-ish kind of person, somebody to think outside the box. They get things done. I love all five of those guys. They're all friends, but there needs to be a little disagreement in government, not as much as what you see in Washington,
you need
but just a
another
little.
opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a variety of opinions right now.
Which is why you're running, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the reason why I'm running. I mean, the idea here is that I think outside the box. I always have. And I think that for the folks that are out there, they're looking for something that's fresh and new and somebody that actually cares about what's going to happen for this county, not now, not tomorrow, but 50, 100 years from now. That's who I am.
How can people reach out to you, follow you, donate to your campaign? Let it all rip, man.
You can reach us at Thornton, THORN, 4 Lee.com. You can get a hold of, you can send an email to me at matt@thornton4lee.com. You can, if you want to donate, you can donate on that page. You can reach us on Facebook at Matthew Thornton, or Thornton4lee.com is also on there.
Got a lot of stuff going. A lot of stuff out there.
We got the guy.
Do you want to throw out your phone number?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can always reach me by my phone number, 239-826-3799. That's on the website.
Okay.
All right.
We're always looking for volunteers, always looking for donations.
Signs, you're gonna be putting signs up and the whole thing. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing signs up and the whole 9 yards. So we're working on.
Thanks
all
for
of
coming on, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Matt Thornton, everybody. Big
Thank
hand
you.
for Matt. Good luck, Matt. Good luck in the race. It's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure. All right, everybody, before we get to our final guest, running for the LPA, I think he's the only applicant for the LPA. Big day on Monday coming up here in the city politics. I want to let you know that Power Block Builders is back as one of our sponsors, and we appreciate the folks at Power Block Builders. 35 years of structural experience. They're completely local, and they support Fort Myers Beach. Don't worry, Dave, we won't start till you get back. Have monthly Meet the Builder events to showcase the homes that are currently being built. They can build all kinds of beach homes, from modular with affinity to custom luxury homes. They're the only builder in the area with a 4,500 square foot luxury showroom 10 minutes away from the beach. Give our friend Oscar a call. He's sitting out in his car right now waiting for you to call. 239-204-0978. That's 239-204-0978. Oh, yeah. Jorge Barrera is our next sponsor. You've seen Jorge at our show. You see him walking around. Sometimes he just wanders the beach with his little dog. He's got one of those. What kind of dog does he have? He's got one of those French. I think it's a French bulldog that he walks around with, and his lovely wife. They're buying and selling property on Fort Myers Beach. So if you've got money burning holes through your pockets, give Jorge Barrera a call. It's time to check out his listings and everything that he has ready to be bought on this fabulous beach. His phone number is 239-791-9893. 239-791-9893. Look at everybody's running to the bathroom but me. Go figure that. How crazy is that? Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest, is he here? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Jim Dunlop, everybody. Jim is an Egret Street resident. You're going to sit here and take number 3. And Jim and I have kind of been like email friends for Jeepers Creepers since the mangroves got pulled away.
Beach Theater.
Yeah.
We're not starting with that.
No, we're not going to start with that. And Jim is trying to get approved on the LPA, and it's a very important committee that this town has
First step
right
in
now.
a lot of steps, and it
Yeah.
steers how things end up being ultimately.
So
absolutely critical.
what brought you to Fort Myers Beach, Jim?
Well, I've been in Florida for 20 years. We moved down here full time in 2017.
Mhm.
Bought the house on Egret Street in 2021. Same thing that brings everybody to Fort Myers Beach. You come here, you see something, you experience something, you become part of something, and when you leave, you feel less.
Yes.
And there you are, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So we've been coming back ever since. Bought our property, like everybody else. Just got it finished. It got destroyed, and we redid it. And
Did
we're
your
back
house
up.
get totally wiped out?
It didn't. The roof and the outside stood through that 9.5 feet of water, but obviously it had to be gutted, and we just finished doing all that. But we're back in, and everybody's in the same place on that. We got it done, and we're here, and we love it, and we're going to continue to be more part of it.
Now, do you put mousse in your hair, or does that naturally
That's a
stand
little
up
product
like that?
my wife calls it. I'm not sure what it is, but
Is it
doesn't it look
mousse
good,
or
though?
is it something else?
Not
I mean,
sure what
I
it
have
is.
to. And you have lovely color in your hair too,
Well,
a little
get
gray
to
on
the
the
part
sides.
how good it looks.
But
There you go.
yeah.
That's great.
So, what made you decide that you wanted to get involved in politics?
Well, I've been in politics before. I was
Oh.
an elected official in Ohio for a while.
Tell us. Do
Northwest
tell
Ohio.
us.
It was a small community outside of Toledo, Ohio, Northwest Ohio, called Waterville. And they had issues like any small town does. So I ran for that council seat through an election, a normal process where you get accused of everything you never
Sure.
had any part of,
Yeah.
the
You're
drill.
totally corrupt.
Got on, and my issue was that we at that time were pulling water out of a river that was about this deep. And so you had all the issues of nitrates and all that. So I set up a process by which to connect to the Lake Erie water, and had to go through Toledo, and we got that done. And then I got unelected on the next election because people don't like to be part of something. And now the town is thriving. It's doing great.
Nice,
So
very
you take
nice.
what you do what's right, and you make it happen.
How long were you on the council there?
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
And we have moved, transferred to Florida, which is why I
Great.
came down.
So you're watching what's going on. I mean, for a couple of years, you're watching what's going on. What is your impression of how the town council is behaving?
Well, it's an interesting contrast, and I would, and would know this well. I watched the September 22nd, 2022 town council meeting 6 days before the hurricane. If you haven't watched that in a while, go back and take a look. It isn't even the same place about the culture, the attitude,
Yes.
the unity, the connectivity, the caring at a whole different human level. That is such a stark change. And I watched that happen, and I heard the council talk about culture and what they want to change. That is an incredibly difficult thing to do. It's like moving Jello around. You have to keep working at it all the time to get everything in line. And so I watched with interest. And to their credit, and to the amount of progress they had to make on that front, as well as doing everything else in the island, they came a long way.
Right.
And so I'm excited that there is room for conversations, negotiations, working together, and openness of attitudes and opinions that I look forward to being part of. And I will tell you the other thing is all the folks here that have lived here way longer than we have, of course, being part of a community that is as vibrant as this one is, but as fragile as it is, it's not a spectator sport. You either get involved, become part of it, make something happen, put your hat in the ring, stand for something, be held accountable for it, or you sit back and complain and throw in the things that people do. And I just won't do it that way.
Yeah.
So I want to be part of it. And I've got a background and experience that I think I can add value.
Why'd you wait so long?
Well, there's other things to get done. And frankly, we all have to wait our turn. You don't push your way in, you get invited. And that's how I feel right now.
I'm sorry, I was in the restroom. How long have you been on
And
the
you
beach?
look lovely. You lipped
Thank
up, you
you
put
so
some
much. No, I
lipstick
didn't.
on, and you
I
brushed your
didn't.
hair,
No, I
and
didn't.
because you know
I
that
just
Jim
went
was
to
going to
the
have mousse in
bathroom.
his hair. That's why you
That's
went back.
Prada.
And
They
Did
tell
you
me
already
it's
talk
Prada.
about that? So how long have you been on the beach?
We bought our home in Egret in July of 2021.
yeah,
Okay.
we went through that.
About
too.
9
I'm
months
sorry.
getting it fixed up, and then Ian
Yeah.
knocked on the door. We let him in, and then we did it over.
So
Did you?
you were
were
talking about the culture of the beach. From the people that you talk to, from the circles that you're running in, what do you feel people that you talk to want for this beach?
Well, it's a dynamic situation, meaning that there isn't one part of this beach that is more important than the other about the tourists, the residents, the snowbirds, people come in. You have to have all those things in equilibrium. And if we focus too much on one or the other, you're going to get out of balance, and it's going to be an overdependent. I just saw the write-up, either you guys or somebody did, about how much the business has dropped off up in Times Square.
But that's normal.
It
I
is
mean, it's
normal, but then what does the island do during the meantime on those off years?
They
You
never-
build the economy.
they've never been able to figure out what to do during the off season to get
Well,
people
but
to come
it
down.
has-
I've been
but-
talking
We have some
about that
chances
for
now.
years.
There's been years. There's been in last few years.
Yeah,
notwithstanding,
post-COVID,
before that,
post-COVID, people wanted to
it
be
was
here.
better. Yeah.
So when you watched Matt talk about the issues with the beach, what was your impression of him running for? Would you vote for him?
I would say at this point, I need more clear answers, more definitive answers. You got to stand for something.
Thank you.
Decisions and voters have that. There's consequences to this stuff.
Yes.
You got to be on the record. And I would advise him, not it's my place, but I've been in this place before. You got to stand for something and see what happens. That's
Yeah,
how
he
you
was
have to
on the
live.
town council in Ohio, so he knows his shit. This guy's waited too long to start running. Can you picture yourself running for a town council seat?
Well, first of all, I have to contribute, be worth it, wait your turn, add value, and when you're invited. And
What
I mean
about
it. And
county commissioner.
No.
You want to that?
Can
No.
you? What about president? We need a good Republican running for president right now.
I'm going to do that right now, my
Wow,
friend.
this escalated quickly.
Yeah. What-
Let's
what-
take this one time. I'm doing it for the pay. You know that. Ed.
Jim,
Oh,
I go.
I know. It's a
Yeah, I
big-
know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
go.
yeah.
I do want to talk about this a little bit because it is a big deal. I mean, I go by the beach theater, and hopefully that place will open up and be some kind of vibrant business. But you live on a canal with a bunch of neighbors, and they ripped out the mangroves, and
They
so
did.
we're trying to stay on top of that. What? I mean, what did that? When you saw that happening, did that burn your bridges, or that made you push you further into wanting to get involved? Because we found out that the town can't even
They can't
regulate
become involved
that.
at all,
They
right?
can't regulate it.
The state's kind of overruled all that. Well, it does. It does remind you how precious and valuable. I mean, the amount of debris, dust, wind, and other things coming to the property now, just because nature isn't doing what it was designed to do anymore, it's egregious. And I went through the process of all the various agencies in Florida trying to make sure we could get some help, met the people there to do the site surveys. And in the end, as you know, the state's going to control what they do or don't do. And they frankly will let the seawall be built, and it'll keep erosion from happening. And we'll go from there. So now what you do with this moment and opportunity is, how do we make it the best we can be with the circumstance and situation we have? As I've talked to you regularly, is I just want to talk to those people.
Yeah.
I just want to have a conversation. I think people become reasonable when you look them in the eye.
Yeah.
And you say,
Yeah, for
tell
sure.
me again,
Yeah.
why is this happening? Why is it happening this way? And can't we think about it a little bit differently? And I think we get that to that opportunity, Ed, we're going to find good things can happen for both of us.
So a lot of stuff going on the beach. Let's just.
Are we going to go through the
yes.
developments?
Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
start. Then you. We'll
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
ping pong back and
You
forth
never
here.
let me start.
I need to set
Ed,
the
well,
table.
Let me start.
Kim,
I
what
wanna
would you like to ask me?
I
So
want to ask about your views on the Outrigger and London Bay development.
if you were on the LPA 3 months ago, how would you have voted on the Outrigger?
Well,
Take a stand, bro. Take a
yeah,
stand.
well, we'll work through that right now. The issue is, are you yet informed enough and have enough conversations and enough information to take a position? It's just as damaging to be for or against something too early or too late and find out later that you either stalled something that could have been wonderful, or you didn't create the influence you could have had by being more aggressive in another way. I think these conversations are premature, but I can tell you, Mark he's approachable. You can talk to
Yes,
him.
for sure.
I'd love to talk to him. This is what I did for a living for dozens and dozens of years. I think there's a lot on the south end for that development. How it can be put together. I think there are things way beyond writing a check for impact fees, which I'm not personally against because they do have a revenue source. But think of the things you could do with someone who's interested, as I believe Mark is, at contributing to the island. Things that don't have to be traditional and predictable, such as, so give me an example. So last Friday, we had a water main break on Egret. Somebody dropped a dumpster off and hit it, and then they took off and left, and the geysers were going for hours. The town came and fixed it and do what they do, but then we get that mandatory boil water notice. So that was Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And you know why? Because they got to send it to Benita Springs to get the water tested 2 days in a row. I'm glad they care about that. Why can't we have that piece of equipment right here in Fort Myers Beach?
Yeah.
Why can't we be close to the customers and do that on a Saturday morning, and then on Sunday release us back? 5 days without water is a big deal. Well, what if the developers had a list from the community of the kind of things that would enhance our ability to be more local, to be more decisive, to be quicker to what we decide to do, and things like equipment for the town, equipment for the schools, ferry services or taxi service to the airport. There's a whole list of things that we could say, this is what we want to talk about.
Okay.
So I look forward to those conversations for these.
Okay. So if the proposal was final at 17 stories at Outrigger, are you a yes or a no?
I'm not actually opposed to the height as much as I am the density of the development itself. I think.
Wow, you got applause from the Nussbaums.
If you look at, and by the way, location matters. You build
Yes.
that kind of thing here, it's different.
Correct.
Out there, there's a continuity of the skyscape right now. And I think this isn't going to make it more valuable, especially when if that 17 stories comes with a dozen of things that are on our minds that could help in a lot of other ways, I think there's a trade-off there that can make sense.
Yeah.
I'd rather they make it that way than a lot smaller and have less impact to the community that way, just because we don't like the
Do you think it was a big mistake for the LPA, for the council to appoint John McClain on the LPA? No, I'm just kidding. I love John. He's a good
supported
guy.
John all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He knows I'm kidding. Do you
He's
know
a
he's
fa-
had 4 wives?
Yeah, I didn't, but I'm glad you got it on the radio now.
No.
I hope he found the one he wants
No,
now.
he has had 1 wife. Somehow he got confused when I was joking
I heard
around with
that.
the guy.
I heard that.
So it's an ongoing inside joke. But
You
Are
can
you a
cont-
dog or cat person?
Oh man, we're dog all the way.
Yeah.
Did you run through the?
I didn't.
No,
I
what do
didn't.
you got?
We'll save that for the your favorite band of all time.
Eagles.
Nice. Wow, he's quick
Wow.
on the favorite TV show growing up.
Twilight Zone. Rod.
Twilight
Favorite
Zone.
movie?
Very nice.
The Adjustment Bureau. Have you seen it?
The Adjustment Bureau. No.
Write it down. It's a love story you need
No,
to
I'm not
see.
watching. I'm not
Somebody
watching a
seen
love
it?
story.
There we
no.
go.
I want to watch
Oh, Ed,
people.
this is a good one for
I want to
you.
watch death and destruction. That's what I want to watch.
Well,
So,
wait till later.
what was
You'll
the
probably see
what
some
was
of
the other
it.
what was the other one? Final one. What was the other one? I'm missing the whole
Put-
thing.
If you were
Yeah.
going across the country in
Can't
an
be your
RV,
wife. Can't be your
and it
wife.
Can you let me get it out? If you're going across the country in an RV, who would you go, dead or alive, not your wife or like family?
Winston Churchill.
Yeah,
Nice.
baby. All
That's a
right.
good
You know what's so
one.
fun?
Can you imagine the conversations
Yes.
you can have with somebody that dealt with nothing, but there's no way out of this,
Yes.
and found a way out of it?
Do you know
I just think that's
I-
imagination and courage.
I see why you guys.
the book I'm
the
reading now
history
is the
stuff.
Valkyrie? I don't know if they call it the Valkyrie plan or something like that. The plan to
even know
kill
what you're-
Hitler. The plan that
Oh, yeah,
they had
yeah,
to
yeah,
kill
yeah.
Hitler. It's fascinating that if the suitcase would have been over just a smidge
would
longer,
have got him.
there might not have been
Doesn't
a
life all come
Holocaust.
down to
I mean,
that?
it's just crazy how
Have
that
you
whole thing
read
happened.
Forgotten Land about Florida?
No.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
Pick that up. I've got it on my book. I can show you in Kindle.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a fascinating story about how things start like this and become
Yeah.
like this. You got to pick it up. You're a reader. You'd like it.
Yeah. All right. So back to the topics. This is a
Davis
different
enjoying
show.
this
What are we
too
gonna-
much.
This is a different show where Kim's not around because she doesn't want to hear about our silly book reading
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
because she watches
that's not
cat
true.
videos at night
Oh,
when
that
she's
is
at home.
not true. This one is cackling
Of the
like
bulldog
like
videos.
watching bulldog
There's
videos.
somehow in my feed on Facebook there are bulldog videos and there are Seinfeld clips. And
Now
my
that's
favorite
funny.
comedian is Nate Bargatze. Have you guys ever heard him? He's hilarious and he's totally clean. He's so
Yeah,
funny.
That would be good for
Yeah.
a change.
And so the next question is Monday is going to be a big day for Moss Marina.
Yep.
If you were watching the meetings now, if you were on the LPA a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, Anita's trying to keep people in line on this beach. He's trying to keep people on the straight and
Sure,
narrow with the
sure.
comp plan and the LDC. Which way would you have voted on that?
So let me give it an answer and then an explanation. I would have voted no the way it's projected today. It's too much, too soon, too intense. We're not ready for that, I believe. Community's got to grow into that. So my question would have been, why can't this development be phased? Why can't there be pieces and parts that are natural add-ons that as a community becomes comfortable with what's happened, how it feels, what's going on, then you come back and say, and I'd like to do even more, and I'd like to do even more. And you're not against people that want to add more of what they already enjoy and appreciate or benefit from.
Yeah.
You're just against this massive thing. You wake up in the morning and go, what just happened?
Mhm.
So I would have asked the conversation about phasing. Maybe they will on Monday. I don't know. But
Yeah.
if you ask my opinion, it's what I would have done the LPA.
When you see some of Ben's comments about this is my plan, there's no plan B, do you believe that, or you think he'll come back with another plan?
Well, I don't know. I'm not in his mind. But what I can tell you is there's always another alternative. There's always another choice. I believe that in life. I believe that in how things work. Things happen for a reason. And I think common sense people dealing with professionals that have the same good intentions will find a different answer.
So you
I don't think the bully thing works either way, and I'm not taking it that way,
Mhm.
but I think there's options to make this thing work.
So you think something could go?
I do.
You're in favor of. I mean, really,
Of
the
course.
map amendment to change it so something could
Yeah,
go
I
back
agree.
there.
I can tell you what I was excited about
So
the
you don't
most.
like the marina there?
Love the marina, and I love the walkway.
Yeah, I
that
love the
walk
walkway.
along there. the-
Restaurants and yeah, I mean, it would be nice.
just do it in pieces and
Yeah.
parts and let it grow on us.
Yeah,
Let them grow
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Let the town get the infrastructure
have
and the
you,
other things
Well,
we
yeah,
have
a
to do.
way to get there.
Right.
have you
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
the Neptune proposal? I know
I
it's
have
been a
not.
while.
I
Okay,
have not.
how about Myerside?
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
either.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
that's-
they've kind of been in
Quite a while.
mothballs for a
Yeah.
couple
They
months,
have.
so but they'll be coming up. So
But
why?
I really like how they handled the whale. I thought the exceptions they
Oh, yeah.
made, the conversations they had, and you see what happens when heart gets connected to the head in that regard.
No, what do you
They
mean
want
by
to
that?
find a way
What do
to
you mean
make
heart?
it work.
Who has
It's
a
just like
heart?
dealing with the town.
Yeah.
You need to help them get to yes.
Right.
And if you can do that and be a partnership, they'll approve things.
Why do you think that you'd be a good addition to the what? Okay, Matt,
Thank you.
thank you. Why do you think you'd be a good addition to the LPA?
Well, I won't be afraid to speak my opinion and have a point of view.
Yeah.
I think that's important. You talked about differing opinions, and that's absolutely right. If you're all getting the same opinion, you're either on Facebook or you're not growing, because that's all that stuff does. And I think it's important to have challenges that way. I think Anita runs a fabulous
Yeah.
meeting, discipline on the money, and does that. I'd like to be part of that. And I also think I have a different voice. I have a background and some experience in the financial industry that I've dealt with these kind of things with the people-to-people conversations, and I can be helpful in helping negotiate some of that.
Some of that stuff is confusing, like getting into the zoning, and sometimes when
course.
Patrick talks, of course he's not going to be there anymore because that's a seat you're trying to fill. He talks so over
It's
my
in the
head,
weeds.
I can't get it. I don't
Well,
understand what he's
that's not a
saying.
high
I'm not saying
bar.
anyone else doesn't understand it, but the guy. I mean, I'm glad that he's going to be
This
pitching.
is such a serious
I'm-
show. I
I'm glad
haven't
that
been
he's-
able to get any zingers in.
I'm glad that he's going to be pitching products to the LPA because he gets the vibe of the beach because he lives
Products?
on the beach. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
He's
pitching
not
the.
going anywhere.
Yeah,
He's got
right.
so much to offer and so much to give.
Yeah.
He'll always be available. And those are people we call. We say,
Yeah.
hey, fill me in on this.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to do that.
So
What do you think about Times Square? What should go in down there?
good question, dear.
The
Thank
pier.
you so much.
The pier.
So after the pier goes in,
Yeah. Well,
My bell broke.
my wife and I have talked about this a lot, and this is an example that not to be identical, but it does kind of give you that point of view. If you've been to Universal City Walk in
Yeah.
Orlando,
Yeah.
do you know how far above the ground you are?
I don't.
You don't. And
and
isn't
you're
that the
pretty
magic
far
of it?
from the parking.
It is a magic.
where you're.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
a
escalator step.
long
But
walk.
everything is built on a level, both eye and access. And
Hmm.
because it's all connected that way, you
Mhm.
have no idea that you're this far up doing this many things above the ground. I seen Times Square, certainly for all the reasons that have to be involved because of the title surge and all that. It has to be like that.
Yeah.
But how it looks as one contiguous, ongoing, connected, and vibrant place, I think that's all possible.
When you saw the picture, did you throw up like I did?
Well, it. First of all, if you turn the page around, you see the back of the page. I couldn't even see what it looked like.
Yeah,
There's no
they didn't offer
360
enough
there.
pictures.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't. It
It's
wasn't.
early, and either somebody had some fun to get a reaction, or they just want to be proud of their painting. I don't know which one it was.
I know you live on Egret Street, which is a lovely street. I
Yep.
went down Flamingo today with Alex King and showing off houses. There's so much construction going on. It's
Yeah.
so great to see
It is.
the town rebuilding on every single street. You see it,
Yep.
and it's got to be a positive thing for the neighborhoods.
It absolutely is. And I know what the town's been through. I know what Andy's had to do to get where he's gotten, and he's brought a lot to our community we didn't have before. The culture of that organization is very vibrant. My question I would ask to all of them all the time, like when I ran my company, is how close are the decisions being made to the customer? Have we pushed all the authority as far down as we could administratively? What really needs to go through the pinch points we have? What really needs to go to council? How much can they delegate administratively and let that be pushed down so people can work a neighborhood or 3 neighborhoods and help advocate for getting stuff through the paperwork?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things you can
gonna
talk
go off
about.
on that one.
What?
You always
do-
go off on
Do you?
that.
So just a kind of a sidebar question here. I know it has nothing to do with the LPA, but would you like to see the pier rebuilt? Because Alan's watching. I got to ask you this, and I know he hates when I say this. Or
That's
do you
what
want
he
to?
said. The first thing he said.
Would you like?
About Times Square? Was
No,
get
no,
this
or-
right.
You didn't
No,
ask
my-
me which kind of
Oh,
pier
I
I was
know.
just trying to work on right now.
Or do you want to see a Taj Mahal?
No. Let me give you what I would do that. We'll see where this ends up relative to the exact description. When that checkbook's open, dude, you better get what you can get
Yeah.
while they're talking about it, while we're a priority. I applaud how much work's going on to bring a tangible, documented request to Lee County and say, this is what we want, because they'll always try to say, we don't know what you're looking for. We don't know what you're really trying to
Right.
develop.
They always say that.
And
Yeah.
when you bring them something like that, then stick to it, plow forward,
Yeah.
get everything you can get, and you won't happen again. So
I-
that would be my answer, whatever it ends up looking like.
I think it's going to be bigger than it was, but
Sure.
probably not big as some of the pictures
Well,
we've seen.
yeah. I mean, it's got to be more resilient. than
And there's
it
not
was,
going to be
and
like
then-
Matt was saying. There needs to be some buildings on it. There aren't going to be any buildings
I
on it
don't-
because you
I
can't do
think
that.
that's
You
not
can't do
allowed.
that. So
Rules have changed.
yeah. So what is your biggest criticism of the government on Fort Myers Beach that you would like to see them fix or do better or
Or do
improve on or do
differently?
differently?
I don't know if this is a criticism because I'm not close enough to daily workings, but I just mentioned this before. I would ask all the powers that are, whatever that organization needs to be or department, just to make sure that the people that are working for them can make decisions and do their job. I find that the further you allow people to do that, not only do you find out who's really belongs in those jobs and who doesn't, but you attract a whole different set of talent when they
Yeah.
think they're allowed to do something
Yes.
impactful.
Do you think it's
not a criticism.
micromanaged then?
Not now.
No,
No.
that
Yeah.
right now
It was.
Of
prior.
course, it was before. Just watch that meeting I talked about at the
Yeah.
beginning. But it's so much better. That's why it's not fair, because everything is a journey and evolution.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of progress.
Yeah.
But we can go faster. We can be more clear about that, and we can make people held accountable for making decisions, getting things done. That is actually healthy for people to have that authority
How do you think they can move faster? You
by
mentioned
by
that.
delegating further down.
Okay.
Yeah.
By
One of
having
the-
department heads make department decisions and have the people that work for them make decisions on behalf of or subject to. What people want, we all want hope. If somebody comes and says, I think I can get this done, I had to do that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I haven't got it done yet. And I didn't promise it would be. But when you say, I think I can, if we do this and this and this, we have something to work with.
Is your wife okay with this path that you're on right now? Okay.
She wants him to
'Cause-
run for town council. I
I'm
saw
kidding.
that.
I think that'd be great,
She
man.
is,
I really think that you should, be on the LPA for a few months. And then,
Ed,
I
Ed,
mean,
Ed.
there needs to be
I want to
some,
be invited. I told you before.
and nobody's going to, and I'm
Oh, yeah, they
inviting,
will.
I'm inviting him to run for
when
town
you know when
council.
you're invited. It feels right. It's the right time.
You waited
can
too
add the
long.
value.
You waited too long
You
to
got to
get
play
involved.
catch up now.
No, I mean seriously, man. I didn't
I'm
know
happy to
that
help,
you're.
partner.
We've just been kind of emailing back and forth for a couple. I mean, maybe a year, but I didn't have any idea that you were.
Well, I
this
tried
smart.
to get closer to you, Ed. I went up to the
Oh,
Bunch
he
of
does not like anyone
man hugs.
close to
I
him.
know. Stay
Oh,
away.
yeah.
We were at the man cave. He goes, yeah, I like nice to
Oh,
meet you.
is
Stay
that
over
where
there.
we met?
That's
Wow.
where we met. Yeah.
Where-
You
what was
invited
the-
us over there. I brought a whole bunch of people and bought your
Cool.
t-shirts.
He's got
Nice.
no
I had
memory.
no memory.
Now
of
when
any
they
of
were-
it.
Got no
You know,
memory.
I have to be honest with you. Since the storm came through, I really don't have a memory of a lot of the stuff that we did and that
Since the storm came
man,
through,
it's
this
just
has been
it was
going
just
on for a
I
while.
can't believe it's like it's coming up on 20 months. It's
Yeah.
just
Quit
crazy.
drinking salt water. It's not good for you.
Yeah, or Blue Moon either, or rum for that matter. So, anything else that you want people to know that might
About
consider voting
you
for
and
you?
what you
The 5
stand
people
for.
that will be voting for you, that I'm sure will be watching you.
Well, and you're kind of setting the breadcrumbs for
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
further
Oh,
down
would you
the
guys
road.
calm down? So I
No,
can tell you
I
that
love this.
I like even numbers. I like takeoffs to match landings. Those are even numbers in airplanes. I like promises made to match promises kept.
Yeah.
So what I say I'm going to do and what we're going to talk about and what we decide to do, we're going to do. And, I just think you live your life by a certain set of personal values, and then they show up in how your behavior works after that. And mine are pretty clear to me. I believe in what I believe, and I have to see a calling to help. You've seen my resume. You've seen the things I've done in the past volunteer-wise. This is not new. But you got to be part of something you represent that you care about. You got to be involved, and you got to put yourself out there and at risk. And when I mean at risk, it means make decisions and be held accountable for them. Some are going to work, some not. But if they know your intent, it's going to go a lot better
What's
than
your
not making it.
prediction for Monday for the Moss Marina?
I don't think it
Predict.
has.
Put something on the board.
I don't think in its current condition it's going to get passed.
Yeah. I agree with you. Unfortunately, right now, I think it's probably going to go back to the drawing board, but we'll see on Monday. You
I hope
never
that-
know. You
Hope that
never
drawing
know.
board includes his faces. That's what I would
Yeah.
recommend.
Big hand for Jim, everybody.
Thank you,
Running
guys.
for the LPA. He's not really running, but there's nobody. Have you
Yeah.
heard of anybody else?
I haven't heard a word.
No other applications.
You're the
I-
only show I ever
yes.
watched, so if I don't get it here, I don't see it.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you
All
for
right, see
everything,
you.
man. Jim
Good
Dunlop,
luck,
everybody.
good
Good luck,
luck.
man.
Thank
And
you.
we will see you on Monday.
Thanks for waiting.
Oh, sorry, dear. Last ad of the day, everybody's Valerie's Lounge and Liquors. Their new comedy showcase once a month, and the next one is coming up at 7 p.m. next week. Stacy Steele. They have local, regional, and national comics. Valerie's Lounge is now non-smoking and is open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And they are open Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. till 2 a.m. And we appreciate Valerie's Lounge and Liquors for being a sponsor for as long as they have been. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the beginning of the show, you missed that the folks from Wahoo Willie's are now going to be running the SOB. Yeah. And that's the Smoking Oyster Brewery, not son of a bitch, just so you people out there in La La Land that don't follow along know. So they're predicting, or hoping anyway, that they're going to be open on November the 1st, as that corridor down at Old San Carlos continues to be the hangout on Fort Myers Beach. So as you go by there, you might hear some saws, or you might see some people painting, and that's going to be the another place that we have down there, because Times Square is going to take forever with these people trying to build that thingamajig that they put out there, a picture of whatever the hell that thing was. I don't know what that was. So good luck to them. Thank you for coming on. Thank you to, here she comes, ladies and gentlemen. The star of the show is going to come back for a cameo appearance. Yeah,
I
there she
have a
is.
very
Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
I have to correct something.
Oh, was I wrong?
Well,
I'm always wrong.
unfortunately, I always love those
Oh,
opportunities.
look at this,
but
dear.
no,
We got
this wasn't
nobody
it.
gave us any coffee money today.
Listen, it was not The Price of Right. The Price is Right. It was Wheel of Fortune.
No shit. It was Vanna White after all.
Yeah, no, I think she retired. Didn't
Wow.
she retire?
I thought, I was going to be searching on YouTube for The Price is Right.
Yeah, it was Wheel
So-
of Fortune.
If you're still watching, what happened was the Wheel of Fortune. We have 140 people still watching. It was the Wheel of Fortune that gave away a prize package of $8,000 to Fort Myers Beach's Margaritaville. So YouTube that. If you find that, please send it to
Apparently,
me.
they're giving away a Margaritaville vacation.
Why don't we get
at
any
all
gifts
different
like that to give
places,
away?
And this was the other night.
Wow,
This
we
one
don't.
was the other-
That'd be nice for us to give away a gift like that. I mean, geez, we're chopped liver down here.
What
Robin.
are you going to give away?
Robin is now, come on, real quick, 30-second update on your pregnancy here. Week number 17. Now, baby Kia is week at number 17 of 52. And
I
thank you
know.
so much.
Now it's just a thing where he
Yeah.
says,
Yeah, she's just Kia.
Yeah, so how are we doing? Do we do healthy? All
It's
good?
not a
Yeah.
we thing. It's a her.
No, what's a we
she's
thing?
doing,
This is-
she's doing good. She's stretching in there.
Yeah.
I just got a picture of her actually. Maybe
Uh-oh.
I can show you a picture
We
of
need to see the
her.
picture. You gotta
You
send
know,
that to
have you
me.
Days
seen
ago.
the ultrasounds they do nowadays? Look, it's like
Wow.
you can see the
Yeah,
whole
she's
thing.
big.
It looks like a puppy dog.
She's
I mean,
measuring a week
doesn't it
ahead,
look like a
too.
puppy right there? I
does
mean,
not
it's got a
look like
face
a
like a
puppy.
puppy. I mean, it's a pair.
Well,
It looks
you
like
can
a
see
duck.
The spine.
Oh my gosh, she's
Yeah.
giving birth to a duck. I mean, look, it looks like a duck.
Well, that
Doesn't
that's
I mean,
look
you
like-
can't tell it's a baby.
She's
I mean,
crunched.
it's really can't tell it's a
Wait
baby.
till you see the face when she
Yeah.
does another
Oh,
one.
the 4D ultrasound.
Yeah, you'll just
doing
see the
that
whole
is
thing.
at 28 weeks. So about
I
10
implore you to
weeks.
send me pictures every week of your ultrasound. How
you
often
don't get
do you
them
go to?
every week.
Yeah,
How
you
often
don't
do
get
you
them
get 'em?
often.
Yeah.
I got one at 12 weeks. I got this one, and then I get one at 20 weeks. They do the anatomy, so it's like an hour long. They measure her all
Sweet.
her bones and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, to make
Awesome.
sure
Things
she's
have
on
really
course.
changed.
You're
Yeah.
still together with the father of the child and you're married, the
Yeah,
whole
we're
thing.
good.
Everything's
Yeah.
good. I mean, no fighting
What
during
if
the
she
week or
said
anything.
no? You would have felt like
Yeah,
a
sure.
jerk.
You know,
Is he a nice guy or is he a total jackball?
No,
I
he's
mean,
a nice guy.
yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure. I mean, I want to make sure baby Kia is taken care of when she pops
Kaya.
out of there.
Kaya.
Kaya. All right,
We
everybody.
should just name her Ed. At
Thank
this
you.
point.
Please.
No
No,
kidding.
don't name the girl it. That's like naming a dog Frankie when it's a girl.
My dog's name is
Stop.
Frankie, but he's
Really?
a boy.
All right. Well, our daughter's got a female dog named Frankie.
Yeah,
Good.
that's funny.
Crazy.
That is
I guess
funny.
it can go either way.
Yeah.
There.
Right,
Yeah.
these
all right,
days,
shut up.
everybody goes either way, right?
Yeah, you're right.
We're
All
not
right,
gonna
everybody.
ask.
We've
Thank you
totally
so
bored
much.
the audience to death.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming. They're like, how the hell do we get out of here? All right, we'll see you guys. Thank you for coming. thank you for tuning in. Big week ahead of us. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jim, and thank you to Matt and to the folks at Wahoo Willie's, Nick and Peter and the other guy, the short guy behind us. And so tomorrow is what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Sunday. It's going to be Sunday brunch with the mayor. Tuesday, everybody, is my big interview with Sheriff Carmine Marcino at Wahoo Willie's. Yeah, he's a big fan of the show. He tunes in every Saturday and watches the show. And so we're going to be interviewing him at 10 o'clock on Tuesday at Wahoo Willie's. He probably has no idea who I am. I don't have any inclination that he knows who I am. So, but that's going to be Tuesday. I'm going to keep this going. You guys keep doing this to me. I'm just going to sit here until 2 o'clock today. You keep pulling that shit with me. We will see you around town. Thank you all for tuning in. Bye-bye.